Hello everyone and welcome back to a new video here in this channel, Brandosi. We're going to talk about Prince of Persia Warrior Within. But before we do that, I'd love to ask you to subscribe to this channel. It's free, and if you don't like the content I make anymore, you can always take it away. Other than that, it would be amazing if you would leave a like on this video. If you don't like the video, you can always take it away. And please let me know in the comments below why you liked or didn't like the video. Let me know so I can improve the content I make. Other than that, I have a new channel I made here on YouTube, where I post my gameplay of the games I played. So at the moment there's only one video on there, and that's my whole gameplay of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. There is no commentary on that. It's just the gameplay as it is, no cuts, no edits. So if you want to see how I play the game, you can most likely find it on there. The channel's name is Full Games by Brandosi. This will be linked down in the description below, so check it out if you want to. But let's get right into the video. So my journey with this game started off when I was a kid. I was at my cousin's home. He had this game on the PlayStation 2 and he was playing it. And I looked at it and I loved the vibes. It was like dark and emo a bit, and it looked really fun. So eventually every time I came over, we started playing that game, but never got really far into the game, mostly in the earlier areas. And after a while, he gave it to me as a present, and I'm still thankful for that, because he gave me one of my favorite games for my whole life, actually. This one is still pretty high up there for me, and I just replayed it constantly back on the PlayStation 2. I eventually got it on PC back in 2016-17. Yeah, I replayed it then once or twice, and then never played it again till the playthrough I did for this video. But my experience with the game has always been amazing. I loved this game to death, and I was so happy when I started playing it again, because all the memories of the game itself just flooded back into me, and it was amazing. I loved this playthrough, I can tell you that already. But let's get right into my playthrough this time around. Before we get into how I played this game this time around, I just want to talk about the story of this game, because this is, from what I remember, my favorite Prince of Persia story that has been told. And I want to get over the story a bit before we head into the rest of the game. So let's get right into it. It all starts when the prince is being chased by a creature is called the Dahaka. He goes to like someone else, an older person, to ask what the hell is going on, and that person gives an explanation that that monster that is following him is called the Dahaka, and he is still chasing him because the prince opened the Sands of Time in the last game. Even though he went back in time to like make sure that didn't happen, it's still written in the timeline that the prince should die for freeing the sands. He also tells him of an island, the Island of Time, where the Sands of Time were created back in the day, and a rumor that there are some like portals on the island on which he can use to go back in time before the Sands of Time were created. So after hearing that, the prince decides to go to that island, the Island of Time, to stop, or at least try and stop, the creation of the Sands of Time. On his way there, he goes with a ship and he gets ambushed by another ship, by a woman who is trying to kill him. to make sure he doesn't arrive at the island. But the prince gets shipwrecked and eventually, like, comes to shore on the island of time. He follows the woman there, he finds her and follows her to a strange room with some, like, kind of sands rising up in the air. He goes in that after the woman, and he sees the whole room where he was changes. It looks like he went back in time, just like the rumor that he heard from the old man said. He then follows her to another room where she is arguing and trying to kill another woman. The prince helps the other woman by killing the woman that tried to kill him. Holy fuck, that's weird to say. It turns out that woman that was being assaulted, kind of, was Kylina. The prince rescues her and tries and asks her about the Empress, who will create the Sands of Time. And she tells the prince to just go away and to never come back. The prince doesn't heed her warning and says, I still need to have an audience with the Empress to make my case. So he tries to get to where the Empress is. He eventually comes to a room with an hourglass where the time till when the sands of time are going to be created is trickling down. And there, the room where the sands of time will be created is blocked off. Kylina tells the prince that that he has to activate 2 towers on the island to be able to enter the room. So he goes off there. On his way, he sees a weird creature that seems to like be following him. He doesn't know what it is yet, but we'll get into that in a minute because it's kind of important. On his way in the present, he switches out from the past back to the present, and he sees that in the present the Dahaka still follows him on the island, trying to kill him to preserve the timeline. So he tries to run, and it works most of the time. Eventually, he's back in the past. After activating the 2 towers, he tries to go to the room where the Sands of Time will be created, and he comes across the Dahaka in the past, which was weird because the Dahaka only came in the present timeline, or in the present time, but the Dahaka came in the past, and eventually also that weird monster that was following the prince came there as well. The prince, dodged the attack of the Dahaka, and so that monster that was following him got killed by the Dahaka, and the Dahaka leaves. So the prince goes on to where the Sands of Time will be created and comes in the throne room of the Empress and finds out that Kylina is the Empress. There they start fighting, arguing, and the prince is like, hey, I don't want to kill you, but I don't want the Sands of Time to be created, otherwise I will die, and I need to change my fate. And so the Empress reacts that her fate is to die by the prince's hands, and she wants to change that fate as well. They start fighting, and the prince, sadly enough, kills Kylina, and eventually finds a time portal behind the throne. So he goes back to the present thinking, hey, I did it. Sands of Time were never created. I'm going back home. He is just sitting a bit and finds out that the Dahaka is still after him. He swallows in despair and just is afraid that his only chance was over. He gets thrown into the prison segment where the Dahaka is trying to get him. even there. And once he's there, he finds like all kinds of texts on murals about a mask that can give the wearer a second chance to try and change his or her fate. He tries to get to because of that, he like gets new inspiration and tries to get to that mask to be able to get a new chance to change his fate, to make sure that Sands of Time were never created. And so he goes on. He eventually finds the mask and puts it on. The mask like clings on to his face, and his whole body starts to change. Because of that, it turns out the prince, was that strange creature that was following the prince all along. The other side effect was that the prince, or now called the Sand Wraith, is put back in time before the prince of the original timeline is even on the island. He is coming to the island still, so he has a lot of time, and finds out that this is his chance to make sure the Sands of Time will not be created. So he tries to get back to the throne room, and on his way there, he comes across the places where the prince had seen the Sand Wraith before, but now he's on the other side. At least he saves himself and goes on to the throne room, but eventually gets punched by some golem and passes out, and losing a lot of time. He goes back. Eventually, after waking up, he sees the prince has activated the 2 towers already, and so he runs as fast as he can to the throne room, where he comes across the prince and the Dahaka. But this time, he will make sure that he, as the Sand Wraith, will not be killed. He dodges the prince's move, and dodges the Dahaka by that, so the Dahaka kills the prince, and the mask comes loose. The Sand Wraith is no more. The prince gets his own body back and presses on to the throne room. There he sees Kaelina and does like he did in the original try, or his original tactic. He doesn't change how he acts. He doesn't look like from Kaelina's perspective, he doesn't look like anything's wrong. And they go in the throne room, but he just goes on to where the time portal is, and he cuts it open and says to Kaelina, there is another way. And Kaelina doesn't believe him, and she wants to fight him, and eventually they come on their final battle space. This is where there are two other so there are 2 endings in this game. You have on one side the original ending, and on the other the secret ending. First I'm gonna talk about the original ending, but this one is not canon. This one is just if you played the game normally and didn't do anything, just play through the game normal. In this ending, the prince kills Kaelina in the present, and the Dahaka shows up. The prince is like, what the fuck are you doing here? I killed Kaelina in the present, so the Sands of Time were never created in the first place. And the Dahaka just claims Kaelina's body, but also goes to the prince and takes his medallion. Because of this, the Sands of Time aren't a thing anymore, and aren't a thing in this world. After this, the prince heads back home with his ship, and sees that Babylon is under attack. And that's where it ends. It's a small setup, but not in the way that the secret ending does. The secret ending, however, is the canon ending. You can have this by one measure, and that's by obtaining all the health upgrades in this game. There are 9 health upgrades. They are not that hard to find if you know where they are. In my playthrough now, well, I'll get to that in a bit. But the secret ending takes place at the same time as the original ending, but instead of the prince killing Kailina, the Dahaka shows up and tries to kill Kailina himself. The prince tries to stop that and finds out the sword he got when he got all the health upgrades, the water sword, is able to harm the Dahaka. So the prince tries to kill the Dahaka and eventually ends up killing it. So the prince kills the Dahaka and talks to Kailina that there is no threat to her anymore about the prince killing him. He asks her again if she wants to come to Babylon with him, because there's nothing on the island anymore that's for her. The Kailina agrees and they decide to go to Babylon together. But while they are on the boat in like making love, yeah, that's a thing, that's canon. While making love, we get a vision that something is wrong in Babylon. Babylon is under attack, and there's a strange voice that says that it will all be his. This part is a teaser to what's to come in the next game, Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about my experience with Prince of Persia: Warrior Within. So let's get right into it and yeah, see what I encountered in my playthrough this time around. There were some issues that I had during this playthrough. First of all, the game just, when you download it on Steam, it just goes to the aspect ratio of 4:3, so a square resolution and square screen. I fixed this by using the widescreen patcher, the same that I did for Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. It's easy to find, so I won't really get into it. But other than that, there were a few issues. One that was pretty big for me, that actually stopped me from recording a pretty long while. I stopped recording for like a week because of that, because I just couldn't solve the issue. The issue that I had was in the gardens, that one point where you have to climb up something, I just couldn't climb up. It was something that I didn't know how to fix, so I looked it up and found nothing related to it for a while, and I stopped recording because I was just mad that I can progress in this game. Eventually, after like almost a week had passed of no recording, I was thinking of, I'm going to try and get on with it and just hopefully get across it. If I couldn't, I would just use clips of my old playthrough I did here on YouTube, or clips from other people for the video, but I didn't really want to do that. And eventually I came across an article on the Steam community forum about Prince of Persia: Warrior Within with the exact same issue that I had. I looked it up and everything I tried didn't have effect. What was a fix was just turning my monitor's refresh rate back to 60 Hz. Normally my refresh rate is 180 Hz. I'll put a pic of the forum post that I found on the screen. This is what I found, and it actually worked. Because of this, the audio was unsynced again, but I quickly fixed that by just turning back my refresh rate back to my original thing. And in the Nvidia control panel, I just said to the game, hey, your max frame rate you can use is 100 FPS. By doing that, the audio sync in cutscenes was perfect. I had a bit of struggle with that in the beginning of the game, but I fixed that by doing my FPS, and the not being able to climb on the fucking wall, or like where I had to progress, by turning my monitor's refresh rate back to 60. It was so fucking irritating that I had to do that, but also that I couldn't fix it the first time. Otherwise, I would have never been that irritating, and this video would probably be here sooner than it is now. The other issues that I had were really small. It were some audio glitches. Sometimes the audio of dialogue in cutscenes just didn't come through. It only happened once or twice. It wasn't that big a deal because this game luckily has subtitles in it. I was so happy to see that again after the Sands of Time. But other than that, the music stopping at moments where there should be music, or some audio effects that should have stopped just kept going for a bit, but it all fixed itself there, so I was happy. There were a lot of things I loved about this game. Most of all, I loved the story so much. It's way more complex than what the Sands of Time had, in my opinion at least. I loved the story so much that before actually finishing the game for this playthrough, I had a talk about this game with my fiance, and just like retold the whole story. There were a few things that I misremembered or just forgot, but most of it was pretty good about this memory, my memory, because I just played this game so much as a kid. Other than that, I loved the gameplay so much. It's a bit of the same as I said with Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, but they're better. The things I didn't like about that game were like fixed in this game. There's more variation to combat. You have a second weapon you can use, which is freaking amazing. There are hidden weapons. I only found one of those, but they are amazing. I loved the health upgrade system so much more than I did in Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, because these were a challenge. You actually had to find them. I actually had to use a guide for those. But to get to where the health upgrades is, you have to like do an obstacle course, where it is easy to die. It's really fun and really frustrating sometimes if you die and you don't have any sand tanks to like turn back time a bit. But I love the gameplay. It was a bit harder than the Sands of Time, but I'll go into that in a bit. Other than that, I love the overall tone of the world and the variations in the set pieces. It's way more than what you had with the Sands of Time for me, because you, for one, have every location you go to in both present but also the past, and those variations and like way some things have withered are amazing to see, and I love those. But other than that, you also have like set pieces that are completely different. It's more in depth than what you have in the Sands of Time, and I loved it so much more. But this could also be a bit of nostalgia, just talking and taking over me. There was one more thing that I really loved about this game, and that's the music. I love the soundtrack of this game so freaking fucking much. From the music in just downtime, to when you get chased by the Dahaka, to the combat music, they are all great. The reason I love those are probably because they are more metal than the other games, but that's just me talking. I love these nonetheless, and because of this game, I got into the song, A Song of Godsmack, I Stand Alone, because that was the key soundtrack in this game that I loved so freaking much. It's just the instrumentals, none of the lyrics, but still, it's amazing. I loved it so much. I love that song so much, and Godsmack has been one of my favorite bands for a long time. It's been a long time since I've listened to them, but probably because of this game, I'll listen to them again. But yeah, that was music, and I loved them so much. I won't really be able to put it in this video. If you want to listen to them, I highly recommend you look up the soundtrack of this game, because it is such good music. I also have to talk about the things that I didn't like as much, or yeah, didn't agree with that much. And there's a few things that I can say, but they aren't really things I disliked. There were just things that like kinda got on my nerves a bit, cause yeah, it's a harder game than the previous game. I love that, but at the same time I got frustrated so badly at some moments, because it's not bad that like the game is harder, because I love that, but the checkpoints locations were brutal at sometimes. There were parts where I had to do such a run back to where I was. Luckily you can skip a lot of the enemies to get to places, but yeah, some of those are brutal, especially if you want to go for like the collectibles or the health upgrades. But I got over those. It's brutal. That's the only negative thing I can really say about this game at this moment. And yeah, that's just saying how much I love this game. To sum it up, this game has been amazing. I love Prince of Persia. I loved this game, and particularly my love for the rest of the series started all with this game. So I loved it so much, and I'm really hyped to go back to the Two Thrones, because that was the second one I played as a kid. It's the sequel to this game, and I am really interested to see how much of my opinion of that game have changed, if there are any things that I didn't like as a kid that I will like now. But that's for the next video. Also, after I'm done with the next video, I'll also like just quickly rank these games, the Sands of Time trilogy, because for me right now these games are so good. I will recommend them to anyone who will listen, because these games are just amazing, and I'm really hyped for the Sands of Time remaster or remake, whenever that will come out. So Ubisoft, please get on with it. I want to see more of that game. I want to play it as soon as possible, but it has to be ready. It doesn't deserve to get riddled with bugs, and I'm really hopeful that it will be great. But yeah, this was my video of Prince of Persia Warrior Within. It has been a blast to play this game again. It has been a blast to make this video. I had a bit more of a script than I did last time, so let me know if you like this video. Like I did in the last few videos, I'm gonna try and redirect you back to my Instagram. That's where I post whenever a new video is coming up. That's where I post a story on what I'm going to do for the next video, and probably ask most of my questions. So if you want to be up to date with whatever I do for this channel, you can always find me there on Instagram, on brandosi.youtube, as you can see here right now. And I thank you all for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you like this video. Share it with your friends if you really liked it, and I hope to see you all next time for the video of Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones. I hope to see you there. Have a nice day, and bye.